summer of 2010, warm and favorable weather had Portland, Oregon in full bloom. The trees were vibrant green, and with the school year winding down, local students were gearing up for the fast-approaching summer break. And 16 miles northwest of downtown Portland, along a winding and wooded road, Skyline School seems about as far away from the big city as you can get.
It's a precious little school. It's a darling school. It's quaint. It's just this beautiful area.
Small and tucked into a grove of pine trees, Skyline School was having their annual science fair the morning of Friday, June 4th, 2010. One of the students at Skyline School was a 7-year-old boy with big glasses, Kyron Horman.
Kyron is shy, but surprising because he is really intelligent and uses big words.
Relatively reserved, very good-natured for the most part. Really into more of the artsy side of the world. He's doing a little bit of soccer, so a little bit athletic, definitely outdoors and enjoyed physical activity, but very artistic.
One of Kyron's defining features was his big smile and infectious laugh.
He had the best laugh. When he thought something was funny, he would just have this belly laugh that was contagious, and everybody just wanted to laugh with him. When he would laugh, you could just see his teeth, and it was just adorable.
Sometimes he's silent in the background, and you don't think he's listening, and then he'll pipe in with something super hilarious. He just has this laugh that lights you up, you know?
Kyron's project for the science fair that day was consistent with his love of the outdoors. A research project about the red-eyed tree frog.
I think he was a little bit nervous. He just having things on display and everybody kind of coming by and talking to him about projects. A little bit more of an introvert initially, so I think he was a little anxious about, oh my gosh, this stuff's going to be on display. But he seemed very excited that morning.
I had talked to Kyron the night before to talk to him about his nerves, and he doesn't like to speak up in front of a room, and he was really nervous if everybody would like his presentation.
The science fair was scheduled before classes that morning, and Kane talked with Kyron before heading into the office.
Just tell him have a good day and just relax and enjoy sharing his project with the other kids. It's just him and I out in the front yard, just having a chat together, kiss on the forehead, really big hug, have a great day, Dad.
Kyron and his stepmom, Terri, then climbed into Kane's white Ford F-250. They made the 3-mile drive up the road to school.
Kyron went to school that day early because it was a school science fair, so all kinds of kids were there with their parents showing off their big projects, and he was no different.
Terri Horman was a stay-at-home mom and Kane's second wife. The two of them had an 18-month-old daughter. And when Kane got home from work in the afternoon, the three of them made their routine walk to the bus stop to greet Kyron and hear about his day.
The three of us start walking down. I know that she had mentioned she had forgot something or had to go grab something back at the house, so my daughter and I walked down to the bus stop, and she took off back up and came back down to meet us kind of at the bottom. Bus goes by up and turns around, comes back down, came back down, bus stops, door opens, and the driver says, hey, what's going on, guys? And it was wait for Kyron. Oh, well, Kyron's not on the bus. Well, he should be on the bus. What's going on? And so she immediately said that she would call it to the school. And I can't remember exactly how it was mentioned, but just kind of parroted back that he hadn't been at school all day. It was like immediate panic at that point. I don't even know how else to describe it. I mean, everything just kind of went blank for, I don't know how long. Probably 10, 15 seconds, just, I don't understand what's happening. And you asked them, and maybe he got on a different bus, or maybe he went home with one of the other kids somehow to pick up from school. And at that point, they just said, yeah, we're pretty sure he didn't get on any bus.
I was sitting at my desk, and my boss was standing next to me, and my cell phone rang. As I picked up the phone, the school secretary, as if she was reading a script, ran down the spiel of, I'm here with law enforcement. They've asked me to notify you that he's missing. And I said, what? What do you mean he's missing? He can't be missing.
I made a call to Desiree to let her know. That was one of the first calls that I made. I was in hysterics at that point, and pretty much your worst fear coming true. Just trying to explain to her, we're not exactly sure what's happening right now. Apparently he wasn't at school. We don't know where he is. We're trying to figure that out. And basically, you need to get up here.
Desiree and her husband, Tony, Kyron's stepdad, made the frantic 4-hour drive north to Portland.
It was dead silent the whole way until just past Eugene. And then we got a phone call, and it was Terri. I thought, oh, this is it. We found him. We got him. He was hiding, and it was Terri explaining that Kyron's backpack and coat were still in the school. Have we found him? Well, no, not yet. I said, well, call me if we do. But we're almost there, and then I started to panic in my mind that the sun was setting, and Kyron was outside without his coat, and he was going to be cold, and it was just an unusual type of parental torture.
The geography surrounding Skyline School is heavily wooded. Thick foliage, winding roads, a portrait of rural Oregon. The school is to the west of the Willamette River, and sparsely populated Sauvie Island sits just over a ridge to the south. It's far from traffic, cameras, and surveillance, and the search response was swift. It would be thorough and tedious.
Imagine the distance 4 or 5 miles out from the school. If you would turn over every rock at your property, look in all the different places, nooks and crannies, outbuildings, old freezers, even places where you wouldn't think somebody would fit, but a small child might. Old dock rates, anything that you can think of. Your cars, if you see anything out of the ordinary with that, give us a call.
Kyron was last seen in a black CSI t-shirt and cargo pants. And the possibilities of where he had gone, either alone or with someone, were seemingly endless.
You go up there and look at the school, you can only get so far. I mean, it's rugged terrain.
So many rolling hills, it's very wooded. It just seemed almost overwhelming to imagine where you even begin with something like that.
For a second grader to walk a long distance in that terrain, either the wooded area, the fields, the road, I don't think you're going to get that far.
As afternoon turned to evening, the sun began to set on the first day of the search for Kyron, and Desiree arrived in Portland and remained optimistic.
I remember as we were driving in to Skyline, it still gets me. Skyline Boulevard, 500 feet. Your heart sinks. But as soon as we saw that sign, it was already dark and there was light. The sky was lit up. And as we drove just a little bit further, we looked and there were boom trucks, there were satellite trucks, there were trailers, there were cop cars all over lining the street. The school was like a mini city. I said, Tony, oh my gosh, I can't believe this. This is all for Kyron. They really came out. This is not good, but it's good. Like, everybody's here for him.
We are dedicated to bringing Kyron home. And we're going to stay here until we've exhausted every possibility in this area.
Exhausting those possibilities meant asking everyone questions, beginning with Kyron's family.
They made very clear pretty early on that, until we can start to get better timelines and more information and start to rule people out based on statistics, you guys are suspects until further notice.